I'm calling from the Trib. I'd like to confirm a quote.
Getting around in 2 hours. I'm coming up on deadline.
How much money was involved? Was it over $1,000? Was it over $10,000?
Right there, please. Are you lost? No. I'm just out walking.
4 in the morning? May I see some identification?
Guess you guys haven't got anything better to do than to harass people going out for a walk? What are you doing?
Just a check, sir.
Well, I don't want to wait here all night. You interrupted my train of thought. I mean, I was working on something very important. You come along and start harassing me. I mean, what happens if I can't remember what I was thinking? Are you ready to take the responsibility for the consequences of that?
So, you had some kind of bad skin when you were a kid, huh? And your folks took you to a doctor, and he gave you x-ray treatments, which cleared it right up, huh?
Listen, I didn't even discuss my adolescence with my mother.
And then 20, 30 years later, you developed a tumor and had to have your thyroid yanked, huh?
Yeah.
And then you got a call asking if you'd be part of this research project.
Right. They told me they thought there was some connection. You had some thyroid trouble, too?
No, I never even had bad skin. I'm just part of the random sample control group, you know? $3 an hour. It's a living.
Morning. Mr. Grant?
Yeah.
I'm Dan Thompson.
All right.
Hi, Mike.
How's it going, Doctor?
Fine, fine. Who's first?
I'll be my guest. I'm paid by the hour.
Thanks.
How are you feeling, Mr. Grant?
Good. Real good.
Any chronic pains?
Oh, well, sometimes the shoulder gives me a little pain.
Bust down a lot of doors in your line of work?
Oh, I think it's from cradling the phone. I'm on the phone a lot.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Think you can take care of that?
Sure. Hold the phone in your hand from now on.
Oh.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry. I just had to interrupt.
Morning, Dr. Duncan. What's wrong?
Great news. Just got off the phone from the committee. We are this year's Strauss Award winner.
Congratulations.
Well, congratulations to you. I have a hunch the research you're doing in arthritis was a big factor. This kind of thing happens here every day.
Congratulations.
Well, I won't interrupt any longer, Daniel. I want you to know you're in the hands of our brightest star.
I should call my paper.
You work on a newspaper?
Trib.
Oh. I'm not sure you're aware of what a terrific facility we have here.
You bet I'm aware of it. You guys probably saved my life when I had thyroid cancer.
And we were happy to do it anytime.
Once is enough.
But I don't think your readers know the fascinating work that we do here every day on the research side. And I think it deserves a story, Lou. Am I giving you too hard to sell?
No.
Then I'm not doing it right. Lou, there's real drama here. We're solving mysteries that are tougher than anything Agatha Christie ever thought of.
We have a science editor in LAU as part of his beat.
Yeah, your guy knows a lot about aeronautics, but when it comes to medicine, I'm not so sure. I never see him out here. And when it comes to his story on the Strauss Award, I'll bet it'll be a rewording of the press release.
What happened to shy, retiring scientists who like to stay in their labs?
You send a reporter around and I'll introduce you to them. Think it over, huh?
All right. Thanks.
All right. We'll see
So
you.
long.
Oh, no, the tickets were top-notch. 45-yard line, and nobody spilled beer on me the whole afternoon.
And now you want a couple for the next home game, huh?
No, Damon. I want 4.
Oh, hey, Charlie. Did you hear about us winning the Strauss Award?
Yes, terrific. Congratulations.
Oh, listen, I wouldn't know this Strauss Award from a prize in a box of Cracker Jacks. But they tell me it's just about the most prestigious thing that a research institute can get, and I just hope you're going to give it all the attention it deserves.
That's not up to me.
Say, who runs that paper down there, anyhow?
A lot of people. And don't bait me, Damon. I'm a very secure guy. Not only that, I'm as interested in LAU getting good coverage as you or any other member of the Alumni Association. But what makes me a superb executive is I don't interfere with the day-to-day decisions of my editors. Donovan, I want to talk to you about our coverage of LAU. When was the last time we had someone over there?
Today.
Good. Who?
Grant, he volunteered to be a guinea pig for the Med Center.
Hey, listen, fellas. Don't let my desire for good football seats influence you, or anything like that. But have we been giving enough space to LAU?
I got a pitch from them today, too.
Well, maybe we should oblige them. I mean, what they're doing out of the medical school is very important. Besides, I'm not asking for that much reporter time.
I'd be happy to, because what I saw out there was pretty exciting.
Let's put Rossi on it. We'll have him get a provocative angle. Really go after the thrilling, pulse-pounding stories that are really going on behind the old Bunsen burners. You really think there's anything interesting there?
Sure there is.
That's great. I could end up on a 50-yard line this Saturday.
I know we're running late. How late?
Well, this is week 20. And Wendell's where your first rabbit was in week 8.
We haven't even slowed it.
That's right. If anything, the arthritis is worse. Look at the posterior knee joints. You want to increase the dosage?
I want to think about it. It can't be.
Right in here. Oh, I hope you're not squeamish. There's usually something dismembered out on the table.
I'll be fine.
Good. Daniel? Daniel, I'd like you to meet Joe Rossi from the Tribune.
Hi.
Glad to meet you, Mr. Rossi. This is Steve Nakajima, one of my lab assistants.
Hi.
I've been telling Joe about the arthritis research, and he asked to take a look around.
Sure, Steve. Well, we're in the final stages of duplicating an experiment I did back in Montana. It's a treatment for arthritis.
This treatment could relieve the suffering of millions of people, Joe. We're giving it our every priority, aren't we, Dan?
Sure are.
Dan, I told the film crew we'd be ready for them next week. I'd hate to think that was premature.
You making a movie?
Yeah, the film school. They got wind of the project. They got very excited about doing a documentary. Could be very important exposure for the center. You will be ready next week, right?
Oh, yes.
Mind if I take a look around?
Yeah, I sure do.
You mean, yes, I can?
I mean, yes, I'd mind. That's one of the worst things I can say to a reporter, right?
It's close.
Well, Dan, we finally got the press to take an interest in us. I'd hate to think there was nothing to show them.
Sorry, George. But I'll promise Mr. Rossi, as soon as I have anything, he'll be the first to know.
Uh-oh. You fellows will have to excuse me. Can you see your way out?
Oh, yeah, sure, thanks.
Doctor, I know this is not the right time, but I want to do some background on you.
Oh, for the newspaper. Yeah. Could we do it tomorrow?
Oh, sure. I don't want to disrupt anything. I'll call you.
Good. Thanks.
Duncan's looking for results by next week?
Yeah.
Maybe you ought to consider taking Wendell to Lourdes.
Damn it, just shut up. And stay out of this project. You keep his cage clean and keep him fed, and that's it.
What's the matter, Dan? I was just kidding.
Are we clear on that, Steve?
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E.
Now, isn't that better, Dennis? Getting some shots out of doors? Rather than photographing me in my office on the phone, begging for money?
You're good at it, Doctor. I was ready to write a check myself.
I'll remind you about that later.
Dr. Duncan, how does a school like LAU, which barely had a biology lab 15 years ago, get so prestigious so fast?
Well, if you promise not to try and set up a medical center of your own, I'll tell you. It takes success on two fronts, actually. The people in the lab have to come through for you, consistently. And I've got to keep an eye on where the money is, what projects are selling.
I'm not sure I understand.
Well, you research what there's money for. For instance, I know this is going to sound crass, but cancer is very hot right now. Several years ago, that wasn't the case. And just look at solar energy. For years, there wasn't money enough.
Who decides where the money's going?
Foundations, government agencies, those kinds of people. A president can get charged up about a certain area of research, and suddenly, there's money.
Like when Kennedy said there'd be an American on the moon by the end of the 60s?
That's right.
LAU's funding, a lot of it comes from the Stewart Foundation, isn't that right?
I think you'd be surprised to learn about the number of generous gifts we receive from individuals. And, of course, the government is always a big contributor.
But the complex is called the Emerson Stewart Medical Center. You didn't choose that just because it had a nice ring to it.
Actually, I suggested it be called the George Duncan Medical Center. But I ran into a bit of resistance.
That isn't so bad.
You know what's bad? Drinking 12 flavors of barium is bad.
You had to drink barium 12 times in your life?
12 times in a week. I can still taste it.
I can still taste it. You make a living drinking barium and testing allergies on your arm?
Yep, giving blood, brain scan, whatever the doctors want. I think there's something happening here on B&D. Okay, I told him that whole animal hair section was going to go like that.
You don't do anything else?
No. Some weeks I can pull in $40. Of course, around summer session, things really slow down. It's terrible.
How can you live in L.A. on $40 a week?
Well, I don't spend $4 on a movie. And I don't spend $100 on a suit. But I get by. It's a lot better than working my tail off the way these guys around here do.
How old are you, son?
26.
This is your life now? Getting stabbed and strained and punctured? How can you do that?
Yeah, it frees me. I've liberated myself from the feeling that I have to hop out of bed every morning and go to work. I'm not tied to a job. I'm my own man.
What's left of you?
Besides, I'm doing a good thing. I'm leaving my body to science while I'm still alive.
George?
Daniel, hi.
George, what is this?
Well, whatever it is, can it wait till later? I've got this luncheon thing.
I haven't been able to see you in 2 days.
I've been tied up with these Strauss Award people.
You gotta tell me what's going on. Nobody tells me, and then this comes in the mail.
What's that?
It's graduate student assignments for the next quarter. They didn't give me any lab assistants. I've got 8 projects and proposals and 3 more and no lab assistants.
All right, Daniel, I'll look into it, but don't expect any good news.
Well, can you at least give me Steve Nakajima for a few more weeks? I mean, we're that close. That close.
Daniel, let me tell you what I see. You're exhausted, and it may be my fault. I think you could use a little time away from the lab. Give yourself a chance to charge up your batteries. How would you like to go back into the classroom?
You're kidding.
Now, what do you think? Take a senior seminar, a couple of sections of that introductory course. It could be just what you need, don't you think?
1 minute you're putting such pressure on me to finish the arthritis project, I can't get out of the lab, and the next minute you're going to throw me into a classroom with undergrads? What's going on?
Teaching is very important, Daniel. You're beginning to lose sight of that. It's part of what we do here. Now, I want you to give this plan some thought. We'll work out the details later. There's no rush. Okay, Daniel?
All right.
federal government, young lady.
I'm still unclear about the Stewart Foundation's relationship to LAU. If you could just give me a copy of your annual report.
I am not going to roll over in a dead faint because some reporter comes prowling about.
Would you tell me where you distribute your money?
I have explained that to you. Your questions are hostile.
I'm not hostile.
And you are suspicious.
I'm not suspicious.
You are a troublemaker, and I don't propose to waste any more time on you.
It would be so much better for you if you would just...
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
So, I had to tell Lou I'd left the notes in my shirt pocket, and the shirt went through the washing machine. And the guy's phone number was a giant wad of pulp. Ah, yeah. The entire story was down the drain. Felt like when you're a kid and you have to tell the teacher the dog ate your math homework.
And you lived to tell the tale.
Oh, sure. Why? What was Lou gonna do, can he?
You lost a big story.
Hey, everybody loses a few, even the best of us.
You're in a funny business, Joe.
You know, actually, I think we met before once. Well, I don't know if met is the right word.
When was that?
When you were stopped by the cops that night, I was riding with him.
Yeah. You were? Well, maybe I overreacted a little.
Well, I don't know.
Back in Montana, that's how I used to get my best thinking done. And you didn't have to worry about being stopped by cops. Mountain lions, maybe. Boy.
Did somebody just cure cancer?
Don't think so. Nobody here's working on cancer. Hey, Steve! Joe!
Dan,
What's going on?
the Alsace Institute gave up on the immunology project. Unconditional surrender.
You're kidding. Does Hawkins know?
He's in there somewhere with a rose in his teeth. Hi, Mr. Rossi.
Oh, hi.
The cups are by the sink. Help
Thanks.
yourselves.
The Alsace Science Institute has been doing immunology work. So has LAU. They look for an answer one way, we went another. Winner takes all. Crazy competition's been going on for about a year and a half now.
And LAU was right.
We don't know that yet. All we know is that Alsace was wrong, which is reason enough for a blowout.
Very sportsmanlike.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me momentarily interrupt our celebration here to remind you that science as a whole did profit by the experiment at the Alsace Institute. We now know that one more approach to our mutual goal is impractical. So, in that sense, our colleagues who made a most exhausting and costly attempt have not failed. But thank God it didn't happen to us. Well, we do owe them our thanks.
Thanks, Strasbourg.
A lot of these guys. I've never seen them this happy. Sometimes wonder if it isn't fumes in the lab or something making us all so mean.
You're in a tough field, I'm surprised.
Yeah. Mr. Wizard was always so nice. It's gonna be some party when I fall on my face.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E.
Mother, Noah, and scientists agree for quick energy, nothing beats candy. Results of an independent survey.
By LAU.
What is this?
They ran a test on 5 different candy bars and discovered that since sugar enters the system as a carbohydrate, it gets absorbed right away and gives you a boost of energy.
It's not exactly news.
It's not exactly the whole story. I don't see anything here about what happens after the burst of energy.
Oh, no. This was a very limited study, and with good reason. You remember the big to-do last year when they were going to take all the candy machines out of the public schools? Well, the people who make stupendous candy figured it was time to do a little lobbying.
So they went to LAU.
They were already at LAU. E.M. Stewart Confectioners was started by Emerson Stewart of the Stewart Foundation, which has contributed $2.8 million to LAU's medical center in the past 5 years.
You don't say.
I do say. Dr. Duncan, LAU's foremost authority on the subject, made a very persuasive statement in favor of candy before the school board.
Is any of this illegal?
No, but it's not very noble either.
So much for the hallowed halls.
What do you think, Lou?
I'm really disappointed. I had such a good feeling about that place. They took care of me. Now I find out they're selling their good name for endowments.
Come on, Lou. You're a guy that takes everything with a grain of salt. Why should the universities be any different than the rest of the world?
Why? Because they've got all those arches with Siki the truth chiseled on them. Because if we can't look for a straight answer from people whose job it is to be detached and discover and teach, then where do we go?
I think I sold my story.
Do it up there tight. I guess we'd better tie it in with the Strauss Award ceremony.
I was hoping you'd say that.
We've got to talk, George. I got to know what's happening here.
Dan, I'm on my way home.
You're always on your way somewhere. Look, I'm working too hard, and this project is too important for me to get treated like this. I need my assistant, and I've got to have time in the lab. You know what we've got here?
I'm afraid I do. A friend of mine, McPherson, an editor of the Ottawa Medical Journal, just sent me these galleys. The issue will be out in a couple of days. Their lab tried to duplicate your arthritis research. They failed. Nobody can do it. Not even you.
I'm more skilled than they are. This isn't getting litmus paper to change color. It's a difficult experiment.
They're not amateurs up there. I found that article very persuasive.
How long have you known about this?
McPherson called me. When he told me what he had to say, I asked him to send those galleys. You might have warned me.
All I need is time and a lab assistant. I'm right. I stake my reputation on being right.
You have, and our reputation as well.
I know I've got it.
I'm not throwing good money after bad, Dan. I'm sorry. Good night.
Good morning, Wendell.
Continue in a moment here on A&E. A&E returns to Lou Grant.
Thank you, Dr. Van Dragen. I bring you all a message from my wife, who is in bed with a cold her husband doesn't seem to be able to cure. She's demanding a recount. The history of the Strauss Award is so distinguished that our reaction at LAU when the news was first announced was, how will we ever prove ourselves worthy?
Well, maybe we've just taken the first small step. It is with great pride that I announce that LAU has successfully duplicated its experiments in arthritis treatments among small animals. We begin testing with human subjects by the first of the year.
I'm talking about that sharp-looking quarterback from the prep school at Eagle Rock.
Oh, yeah, Hodges. Yeah, we didn't sign him.
You're kidding. You guys worked 6 months on him.
Well, he decided he didn't care about LAU or football. He's going to William & Mary, pre-law.
No fooling. Thanks. William and Mary.
Hey, how's that story on the medical center coming along?
Fine.
Yeah? A lot of people have been asking me about it lately.
You tell him it's coming along just fine.
You sure nailed me, didn't you, Charlie? Look, why didn't you say you just didn't want to do the story on LAU instead of going out of your way to put the knock on us?
You think we're going to put the knock on you?
Oh, look, Charlie, it's not me. I'm just a concerned alumnus. Look, we know you sent one of your hostile young reporters over to the Stewart Foundation, asking a lot of loaded questions. And it's a crying shame. Trying to bring down a fine school.
Your burger's getting cold.
Okay, so you were embarrassed.
I felt like a 5-star fool finding out what my paper's doing from a drywall manufacturer. What the hell are we planning to write about LAU?
Story on the Med Center.
And what ugly secrets did Rossi uncover about the Stewart Foundation?
Nothing.
Nothing. That's not what I heard.
Stewart Foundation's Billy's story.
Billy? Billy's the hostile young reporter?
I guess so.
Huh. Well, I still don't understand. I mean, the last thing I heard, the LAU story was looking like a salute to men in white. What happened?
Billy got something better.
Oh, yeah? Well, good for her. Let me take a look at it when it's ready.
Could we get a look at the rabbit's face?
Sure.
Yeah, look over here, fella. Come on. What's his name?
Wendell.
Wendell. Here we go. Come on, Wendell. What should I expect from a rabbit, right?
How does it feel making a breakthrough like this?
Well, mostly I'm tired. This is just one of the projects I've been working on.
You're not happy?
Oh, sure. I'm very happy.
Did Wendell's disposition seem to change as he got better? Is he happy to be cured?
Well, of course, we don't allow ourselves to get too attached to the test animals, so I'm sure any organism will respond in some way to the lack of painful stimuli. Actually, the amount of pleasure the species is capable of communicating is very small in comparison with the response of a human.
Did Wendell receive any special treat today?
Well, of course, the animal has no awareness of his significance.
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, doctor. I'd like to take this opportunity to apologize for the pitiful questions of my colleagues.
Dr. Todson can handle it.
What's the general feeling around here since the announcement?
Unrestrained euphoria.
Boy, it sure looks like it. What is it? Is it Todson they hate, or is everybody allergic to the rabbit?
I don't even know who you are.
I'm sorry. Joe Rossi, Tribune.
Rita Silvera.
Hi. So, you were saying why everyone's acting so funny about all this?
No, I wasn't. No matter what I say, it'll look like professional jealousy.
Oh, listen, I've been the target of some pretty understandable jealousy in my day. And you guys are not acting jealous. It's deeper than that. You're acting angry. Am I right?
Get a copy of the upcoming issue of the Ottawa Medical Journal.
Thanks.
You did that very well, Mr. Rossi.
It just sounds like people are jealous. Did my mother have the mumps, for Pete's sake?
Okay, it's morbid. Okay, let's say it's jealousy. It's a great story. This guy has just made a huge advance in medicine, and his buddies are tripping over themselves to avoid saying nice job. I think it's pretty stinking terrific.
It's awful.
Sure, human nature and all, but I love it as a story. Don't you love it as a story?
I respect it as a story. Now go easy on the irony. And be fair to this place, will you?
Here, Lou. Boy, give a little blood to the joint. Next thing you know,
I didn't
you're
say
telling...
be nice. I said be fair. Hey, Lou. Oh, now this is ridiculous. Wait a minute. What are you letting them do to you this time?
You don't want to know.
Michael, does your mother know how you're making a living?
It's not that big a deal.
You're young and healthy.
Perfect specimen.
And you're intelligent. You could contribute, but you're wasting the most valuable years of your life. Your prime, lying on a gurney, letting people poke at you.
I'm happy.
How could you be? I mean, this is your life. You're supposed to do something with it, not just kill time.
I do things.
What do you do?
Well, I talk to people, and I read. The only thing I don't do is work. But I've never been on unemployment, and I've never been on welfare.
Mike, there's work to be done in this world. Don't you feel you're missing something? Not contributing?
No.
Huh? Okay. I've been avoiding the word because you're a nice kid. But I think you're just plain lazy. Mike, you're just a big lump. A big, happy-go-lucky lump just sitting in the middle of the road for the rest of us to have to go around.
You know what I think, Lou? I think I contribute. Everybody else is so uptight, you know, worrying all the time about their job and their politics and their money, fighting their way up the ladder. I think they take a look at me and they say, whoa, I gotta slow down. You know, I think I'm kind of a calming influence.
Not to me, you're not.
When I was 12, I made a dissection table out of an ice cube tray filled with candle wax. My little sister would catch frogs for me. I got a book and taught myself dissection. In college, I wound up selling my car to get enough money to go to Chicago to a medical conference. I knew George Duncan was going to be there. I wanted like hell for him to meet me.
Why was that?
Well, he was starting the Med Center. I'd read an article he'd written about how LAU was going to be the best. I was planning on being the best, too.
So he hired you?
Then? Oh, no. I was an undergrad. But every paper I did, every project I worked on, every job I had, it was always with Duncan in mind.
When'd you finally come here? When'd you finally come here?
2 years. Last December. I was in Montana. Up to my ears in wide open spaces, correcting freshman exams, and he called. He said, son, I think it's about time you got out of that garage you call a lab and did some real research. So, I packed 12 cases of books, a suitcase full of summer clothes, headed south for LAU.
Steve, look at this. This is one of the new ones. But he's got something wrong with that hind leg. And it looks like his number's been changed.
Uh-huh.
What do you think?
Well, there's a lot of things it could be. I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Dan, can you come over here?
Are we finished?
Oh, sure. Thanks, Dan. Congratulations.
You're welcome.
Will continue in a moment here on A&E.
Close the door, would you, Daniel? Freeberg and Masterson just finished their proposal for the enzyme research. How's it look? Good. Good.
What do you suppose the odds are they'll be funded once word gets out that LAU is faking lab results? What are their chances, Daniel? Now that you've lied, what's going to happen to everyone else?
I don't know.
You're not going to bring all of us down with you, I swear you're not. Silvera and Nakajima aren't going to say anything, and neither are you. We'll back off the results, say that we announced prematurely, and that we have to reevaluate the data.
I don't think that's going to work.
I want you to go up to my place in the mountains. Talk to no one. Just stay there.
People are going to find out.
Probably. Because what you did was so stupid. My God, it was so simple to catch.
You didn't catch it. You bought the whole thing.
I think you better get going now.
You read this article?
Of course I read the article.
And you understood it?
Well, the technical stuff was a little slow-go, but,
What does it say?
Well, I can't tell you exactly what everything means, but...
Yeah. Rossi, you're out of your element. Even if you get your hands on Todson's data, you don't know how to interpret it. How are you going to judge who's right?
Lou, there's another way to crack this. Through Dan Todson.
You want to talk to him? Go talk to him.
I gotta find him first. He's gone. But I think I've got a lead.
How much time do you want?
Days. A few days.
If you're gone for a few days, it's a lot of copy I stand to lose. You promising me something sensational?
I am promising you something sensational. Or a total wipeout.
Go.
Tell me again who this guy is.
Damon Forrest used to be head of the LAU Alumni Association. Now he's not an official anything. Okay?
No, thank you.
He's just a friend of the university and my best connection for football tickets. Don't let that influence your treatment of him.
He really didn't like my story, huh?
Well, he wouldn't go into detail on the phone, but I think it's a safe assumption that my seats will be somewhere east of the stadium next Saturday.
It's so petty. They think he could really get you with a couple of bad football tickets.
Yeah.
Really? You actually care about the old orange and white?
Well, sure I do. You went to LAU.
Yeah.
I suppose you never went to football game.
Never went to graduation.
Oh, Billy.
I had a job. Listen, I loved having 4 years to read and think and worry about the cosmos without somebody thinking it was a waste of my time. LAU gave me a chance to do all that. It also gave me a chance to see grades change, to keep a jock on the tennis team, to see professors publish their students' works under their own names. Oh, Charlie, a prefab construction company gave LAU a big endowment, and suddenly the school was offering degrees in mobile home technology.
Charlie, there's a guy waiting in your office.
Yeah, I know, thanks.
Is that him?
That's him.
I can take him.
Nobody's gonna take anyone. We had our say in the paper. Now let's hear him talk.
Fine, okay.
Damon, I'm sorry I had to wait.
All right, Charlie.
This is Billy Newman.
Nice to meet you.
Do you realize the harm your article has done?
I'd like to hear anything you want to tell me.
Everybody on campus is just sick about that god-awful story. If you could see the betrayed look on their faces.
Wait a second, Damon. You know what you're doing? You're acting like the people at LAU are a bunch of hothouse dilettantes who need our protection. Now, let me tell you a few things. LAU's operating budget for this year is $260 million, which, by the way, is several times more than this newspaper's. Your recruiters are working overtime, selling the school to kids here and in a dozen countries. LAU is one of the largest landholders in this area, and there's hardly a department where faculty members don't consult with local industry.
Well, what in the world's wrong with that?
Most of the time, nothing. But don't expect the Trib to treat the university with kid gloves. And stop swooning every time anyone catches you in a lie or a scam. If LAU wants to be part of the real world, it had better learn to take a punch. And, please, pass that on to our concerned friends on campus.
Okay.
Damon, prepare for more.
Well, I kept my mouth shut. I don't know about my colleague.
We lost that kid at Eagle Rock. We're going to have a lousy team next year anyway.
figured you'd be out walking.
Yep.
Well, you got everything all sorted out for yourself, Dan?
Some problems can't be walked off.
You sure that's it? Because I still got a couple of pints of blood left, and you don't know the first thing about my Uncle Roy's side of the family.
Hey, Lou.
Oh, Mike, what did they do to you now? Break your leg to see how fast it'd mend?
No. I got this. I was running on the beach, hit a patch of kelp and wrenched my knee.
Oh.
So how you been?
I've been fine.
Listen, I've been doing an awful lot of thinking about what you told me, about how maybe I'm not pulling my weight or living up to my potential.
Really? Good.
Yeah. Lou, you're totally wrong. I'm the happiest guy I know.
Okay, Mike, have it your way.
Well, listen, I read Sunday about what you guys wrote about the rabbit trick.
You read that, huh? You've been spending money on the trip?
Never. I go to laundromats. There's always a paper at a laundromat. Anyhow, things are really going to slow down around here at LAU, and funding for the med center's going to take a nosedive.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah. Boy, messing around with the results. God, I'm well out of it, Lou. This bunch is not for me. They got no integrity. I take science seriously.
I guess that means you'll have to go get a job.
No way. Not while I still have the strength to lie down. I heard about this hospital down in San Diego. Just came into some megabucks.
Well, sounds good.
And the beaches are less crowded, too.
Good luck.
Don't draw any grim conclusions, Mr. Grant. Everyone's at lunch.
Dan Todson?
Oh, no, he's gone.
How do things look for the center?
Well, if you listen closely, you can hear the sound of checkbooks snapping shut. But we'll coax them back.
We? You're staying?
Trustees gave me a vote of confidence. I couldn't leave LAU. Not at a time like this.
Know when I realized I was in big trouble?
That day in the lab?
Nope. This morning. When I needed to talk to someone, and the only person there was a reporter. You.
What about friends?
It was always George Duncan.
Well, do you have any family?
Back east. I'm gonna have to tell him.
What do you think you'll do now, Dan?
I haven't a clue.
Well, there are other jobs.
You don't know science, Joe. There's a long waiting list for the job I had. And who's going to hire someone when they can't be sure of his results? Joe, I feel like I've been falling for weeks. Ever since the study started to go bad. I keep thinking I'm going to finally hit bottom. But I just keep on falling.
Didn't you know you'd get caught? Somebody find out you'd fake the results?
The experiment worked, Joe. It worked once. I always felt in my gut I was right. Now it's going to take forever for someone else to get around to repeating the experiment. Because it's been discredited. That's what hurts so much.
I think it's stronger if you move Todson's background up higher in the story, see?
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Let's tribute this quote.
Okay, make it Duncan said.
This worked out very well.
Yeah. I was thinking this morning about all the stories that start out looking like nothing and turn into big ones.
You never know.
Yeah, exactly. God, Lou, luck has a lot to do with it. I mean, my instincts are the best, and even so, there are times when you just don't know whether you've got a story till you work on it.
It's one of the good things about working here. They'll let you take a chance now and then. Of course, it's just smart policy.
Thanks.
You know, Toddson said something to me when we first met about Copernicus. Remember old Copernicus? He had this hunch about the Earth revolving around the sun when everyone else thought the opposite. Well, Dan said, the way science is run today, Copernicus probably wouldn't get funded.
He's been in films and on Broadway, but what were the origins of the vampire? Follow his harrowing history on Ancient Mysteries tonight. Now, a beat cop has to face the toughest battle of all on Police Story, next on A&E.